Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about it in context to a brand new announcement for a tabletop games news network, okay? Coming out from Adam Rady. He may have announced this before, but I saw this announcement for a Kickstarter to start a tabletop games news source. And there's going to be a Kickstarter coming up, and it's all being headed by Adam Rady. Now, I found this out on Ghostfire Games. So I've been struggling with the normal sources I have for D&D news and for D&D commentary. And Ghostfire Games is one of the ones I really enjoyed and that I generally trusted. But, 2023 OGL crisis, 2023 Manic Panic happened. And they were strong in the D&D Be Gone camp. And there was a lot of shade being thrown at Hasbro and at Dungeons & Dragons itself. And I really got my fur up because Ghostfire Games, if it weren't for Hasbro and it wasn't for Dungeons & Dragons, they would have nothing. Like they're literally everything they're doing is contingent on the work that's being done by Hasbro and by Dungeons & Dragons. And I felt there was an ingratitude and an outrageous amount of disrespect coming from them for what literally feeds them, right? So, but I'm going back, and they're doing their thing. They have some great people on there. The host is very good. I really kind of like everybody but James Hayek. Dale Kingsmill is on there, and Sean Merwin. These are brilliant people, right? But they did a great job of interviewing this gentleman by the name of Adam Rady, and he is attempting to start a brand new tabletop game news source. And just this conversation, what it really showed is how outrageously difficult that is, and how much pressure is on the moment you announce that, right? There are 100 questions that immediately come down the line. So let's talk about some of the biggest ones, right? What they were saying is, where are you going to be on big D&D, right? Like, and big D&D, right? So, and I laugh because that's real. There's a lot of people who are like, oh man, you're in with the corporations. D&D Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast specifically made $1 billion last year. Big D&D. You're all in on a monopoly, man. Right? And I'm just like, I'm laughing because I'm like, are you guys kidding? Like, $1 billion is nothing. $1 billion is nothing. $1 billion is nothing. Nothing. It's not real money, right? Like, it's not big D energy money. It's just not, right? Like, and you guys pretend it is, and this is the issue this is where we land, right? Because what we're really seeing is there's this begging, mewling cry of the OSR, like, please, can we stay small and never matter? We want to make sure that this is only nerds in their basements, who are supported by one parent, and never get a job. Please, can we stay small? We're worried that the mainstream and actual non-nerds might find out what tabletop role-playing game is. It is so frustrating, right? So Adam Rady, right? And it was literally asked. It was like, where are you going to be on D&D? Are you going to kick them in the nards every possibility you have? Right? And they're like, are you going to insult them and castigate them in every single episode the way we do? Right? Is your tabletop news source going to be anti-D&D from day one? And anti-D&D in every story? And anti-D&D on every topic? We're really hoping you will be. Let's forget the fact that our bread and butter is literally supplied by them, and all our jobs are contingent on them. We'd really like to make sure you're insulting them all the time. Right? And there was just... And so I cannot tell you how incredibly difficult this is going to be. The other thing that came up is they were like, basically, tabletop game news source. What that really means is no video games. And I'll tell you right now, this is hard, right? This is hard because, well, one, D&D Beyond. That's a digital source. It's not a video game, right? But when the VTT arrives, is that a video game? Right? The only thing you need to keep out if you have a tabletop news source is you need to keep video games out. But there's literally also video games that are coming from the board games, right? And so and the second you start covering this crap, You're right up with IGN. And what was the point of you ever even doing this, right? And the host of Ghostfire Games was like, what are you going to cover, right? Tabletop role-playing games, that's big. Board games, that's big, right? CCGs, that's big, right? War games? Are you going to do war games? That's 4 segments, right? That is a ton of difficult. And so, one, I'm glad that somebody is taking this seriously and starting to attach some professional energy to all of this, right? That's very real. That is very necessary, right? And so that is significant. That is very significant, right? I think what is interesting is I'm really glad this is being done, but I see huge challenges to actually finishing this and moving forward. So, I'm rooting for you, Adam Rady. I would really like to see some professionalism brought to tabletop game news, and if there's somebody who can have, look at it from an objective position, I would really love to see that, right? But I also think there's just innumerable challenges, and everything he's attempting to do is 100 times more difficult after. And I cannot press upon you this I cannot stress this enough. The Kumbaya garden we all lived in 2020, in December of 2022, is burned to the ground. It's ashes. Okay, we are in contested ground now, right? And I think the OSR and D&D are both aware. You take one and you shove it to the other. People don't play both. And is this a surprise to anybody? This has been happening in politics for a while. We are far more partisan than we ever been. And that's exactly what has just arrived at Tabletop Role-Playing Games. Kumbaya bipartisanship is done, right? It's partisanship all the way down now, right? And I'm getting tired of hearing people come up and go, play whatever you want. Like, all you're saying is I'm massively ignorant of history. That's where we are, right? Kumbaya Garden is the virtual Kumbaya Garden is virtually burned to the ground, and there's just nothing but virtual ash now. And we are in virtual contested ground. That's the new reality within tabletop role-playing games. That's my take. Good luck, Adam Rady. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.